then, so there's the two cars. Obviously, some of you have seen me previous videos. You know I've had this for a while, and I've done various things to it. I've reviewed what I've done to it, modification wise, where I've drove it. Other bits and pieces I've done with it. I haven't done a lot with this one, which I thought I'd not concentrate mainly on this one, but give you a few ideas anyway. I'll just take that one to one side for now. So I bought this one on a bit of a whim. I like the look of it, and I think when I bought that one, there wasn't any of these available. But with it being my first ever crawler, I was thinking, again, cost-wise, this cost me £116 delivered from some online retailer. It wasn't a hobby shop or anything. I can't remember which one it was anyway. So when I seen these had them in, that's why I sort of bought one, because I really wanted one from the start. Anyway, I'll not dive off subject too much. So out the box, this obviously comes with everything you need: batteries, instructions, etc. Little charger which plugs into you use a phone charger or whatever. I don't think it's the greatest. I've heard a couple of people having problems with them. It does get quite hot when you're charging the battery. I obviously do keep an eye on it when I'm charging it, and I'm charging a LiPo sack. And the other day I did actually have a fan out because it's warm at the minute, so I had a little desk fan on, so I pointed the fan at the charger while it was charging. I could make a couple of leads up and adapters to charge off me proper charger I've got for my other RCs, but I don't think I need to at the minute. Anyway, I got this. I just plugged the battery in. I gave it a little go outside, and straight away, the control of the car through the handset, I found was good. 3 speed modes. You've got low, medium, and high. That's a good feature. There's plenty of range on the trigger. It'll barely move it'll go quite quick for a little thing. Obviously, it runs on 2S. I think that's an advantage. The first thing I noticed is obviously it does have quite big tyres, and it's quite good for the size of it. But I did notice that the front bumper was just a big hindrance straight away. So I took it off, and the actual LEDs are in the cross bit where coming out a bit there, where the bumper pushes into. I've just put the LEDs in there. I put a little bit of blue tack to hold them in because I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave them in there or what. So I didn't want to glue them in case I couldn't get them out, or I wanted to put it back how it was. Anyway, did that was better. And other thing I noticed straight away was how bad the suspension is out the box. See, I've read that loads of people have had problems with them, and not problems, but just it's not great. So I went off other people's guidance, and I put a bit of grease inside the shocks, took them off. I did mess about quite a bit at first. Actually, I have another set of springs off me old shockers off this one, so I tried fitting those on, and that did lift it up a bit, but it didn't have any articulation because the spring rate was too stiff. Because that weighs a lot more than the Axial. So what I did in the end is I put a bit of grease inside the shocks, just took the caps off, filled them up, and also you can see there's a little rubber O-ring on the top of the shock, just to lift it a little bit. That's an O-ring out of a shock absorber off me 1 to 10th race cars. It's some old O-rings. I just sometimes keep the odd couple when I do the seals on the shocks. That made it better, but I think the grease has just about all but come out now. There's like traces of it on the bottoms of the shock, and there's like dirt stuck to it. It does leak out. It made a difference, but yeah, like I say, the suspension's not great. I don't think it's very squishy. It doesn't have a lot of travel. The tyres are quite big. It hits off the body straight away. The body needs a trim as well. The arches need cutting down, but I haven't done that yet. But yeah, I don't rate the suspension on it at all. Drivetrain, I think's excellent. There's no slop in anything. The car, when you move it slowly, it doesn't judder or bounce about or anything. It feels nice and smooth. I'm under the impression that there's metal in these diffs and these worm drives, and I think that's got a lot to count for durability and strength. So that was good. Obviously, I am just comparing it to this one, my experience with this one. I don't have experience with any other small scale crawlers. Other thoughts are top heavy. I mean, the shell isn't heavy, but the design of it is top heavy. It seems to have quite a narrowish track, and it does feel quite top heavy. And with the suspension, I noticed straight away when I was using it where I would usually use the other one, and what's available to us in the garden, it was falling over quite a bit. You know, it could be down to me driving as well, like, but I noticed that straight away. So the only other thing I've done to it is I've added a little bit of weight up the front. You'll probably not see it because I've painted the weights black, but I put 5, like these are just sticky alloy wheel balance weights off a full-size car. Put a 5 gram on the back of the servo, and then I've put a 10 gram under the tray where the speedo, the ESC sits. You can't see it because I've painted it. You can see that that one there is on the back of the servo, and the black one is just under there. So I put 15 grams on the front, and it has helped it a fair bit. I noticed when I was doing, you know, did a little video over a couple of days, and it had made quite a bit of difference. But yeah, weight. It doesn't. I don't think it weighs enough. I weighed this last night. Sorry, I weighed it. Yeah. Anyway, I've got a photo which I'll insert. And I weighed this one. Obviously, I have done stuff to this, and this is 50 grams heavier than this. So it does lack in weight. Obviously, when you look at the layout, everything, the speedo, the battery, everything's quite high. It could do with being a lot lower, I think. I know you can change stuff about. I've seen people putting the battery up the front. You can put the battery on the rails here. You can put the speedo here, lower it down, and stuff like that, which apparently does transform it and makes it better. Whether I'm going to do that, I don't think I am, to be honest. I'm not too fussed. I've also seen that you can get brass for these that are specifically made. Brass covers for the diff portals. You can get them to go. You can get the knuckles inside there, but the price of the brass when I seen it was just, considering it's a 1/24 scale, some of the brass was like £30, 30 English pounds, £40 for some of it. And I'm thinking, well, it's just a 1/24. How's it so expensive? You can get some cheap Chinese brass, I think I've seen off the likes of AliExpress and stuff like that, but I couldn't believe it, really. I mean, considering I paid 116 for this, and then if you put some brass on the front end, really wants beadlocks so you can put some weight inside the tyres, I think, personally. You know, you could end up with like easy £170 by the time you've put a bit of brass on and changed a few things around. It's a lot of money for something as small as this. Performance wise, yep, it's like I say, it's great. The electrics, I think, are great. They're nice and smooth. The drivetrain's lovely. It's durable. It's strong. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. So I think out the box you need to do something with the front bumper. I also have put a washer behind the servo saver as well, just to tighten that up, to stop it kicking in all the time. Just tightens it up. I think it still works slightly, but it means you can use the steering a bit more when you're on tricky descents and stuff like that. You can waggle the wheels against a rock or something, and it doesn't just use the servo saver. But yeah, overall, my thoughts are, at first I was really impressed with it, but then after running it a bit more, it kept tipping. I have, you know, changed my driving style towards it, and it did help. But I don't know. I'm not exactly blown away by it. And as I say, I don't think I want to be spending loads of money putting brass into it and stuff like that. So yeah, I paid 116 for this one. And like I say, that's my thoughts on that. So back onto this one. Obviously, I've went over this loads. I'm not going to go over it too much again. This was £74, I think. That's what I paid for this. Totally standard out the box. Again, with this, I added some weight underneath. I added the metal shafts because I snapped the other ones. Mentioned that loads. Another free thing which I did similar with that is flip the bumper mounts on this, which lifted it up, give it more approach angle, front and rear. Had to trim the bumper, but the body, but it doesn't matter. The suspension's not too bad on this. Out the box, quite good. I obviously put the alloy ones on. I think they're a big improvement. It's got nice. There's a little bit of grease in there. They probably need re-greasing, but there's plenty of movement on it. It articulates very well. Again, it comes with beadlock wheels. For all these tyres are far too small. That's my biggest gripe about this. I've put weight inside each wheel, which helped massively. I personally think this looks 10 times better than that. The Land Rover is the ultimate off-road vehicle, I think, and you can't. I know it's not a proper one, it's not patented, but that just looks so much better than the Jeep. Looks 10 times better, I think. It looks more skill. Yep. So with this, obviously the drive shaft snapped within a couple of days. Big downfall. I think the replacement ones now come with the metal cross pins, which I am going to get some. I'm going to replace these metal ones because they're terrible, to be honest. There's too much slop in them, and it's made the transmission so juddery, and it's just not very good. So I need gears for the gearbox because I stripped them. I tried a 2S battery in here, and it had too much power. It's all plastic. It just shredded them. It doesn't need 2S. If it was metal geared, I don't think it would be so bad. I think I would run it on 2S, but it doesn't need it. I have got the power upgrade kit in here, so that made it better anyway. I'm just sticking with the 1S battery. But when you look at this, compared to the other one, everything, the battery tray, the speed, or everything is so much lower down in the chassis. And this just doesn't want to tip anywhere near as much as the Axial does. Yeah, I think the layout of this is much better. Just the huge thing with this is the clearance between the diff and the floor. I can just say get me finger under that, whereas that one, my finger goes. I can get it like all the way under without touching anything. The clearance on this is much better. But yeah, I think for me, out of the two, if somebody asked us what I would buy, I would stick with this or buy this for the money. If it hasn't got the metal cross pins already in, if they're not changing them, there should be. If not, buy the drive shafts, or buy the cross pins, or buy the complete drive shafts with the metal ones in. Lift your bumpers, and that's all you need to have a bit of fun, I think. Yes, it gets ground out a lot easier than the Axial, and the control and everything is definitely smoother on the Axial than this, but I don't know, I personally don't think it's worth spending the extra money for this. I just don't. I like them both. Like you say, they both have the pluses and minuses. If this had the clearance of that and the metal gears of that would be unbelievable. I think it would be brilliant. And I have actually been sitting looking, seeing if I can Frankenstein the two of them. I was trying to see if I could put either the suspension off this, but not really. I wanted to put the axles and the drivetrain, the wheels and tyres, and the electrics out of this, or some of the electrics, maybe just the gearbox, maybe keep the speed off this and the receiver into here. And I think that with the axles, with the worm drive and everything into that would be fantastic. I might still look at that. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought I'd give a few thoughts on them both, really. Seeing as though I've had a chance to run this one a bit more. Like you say, gears for the gearbox aren't in this country until next week or something. So when I'm going to get a couple of sets of those to get this working again. And put the plastic shafts back on with the cross pins in. Hopefully they come with them. I'll get that done, and then I'll be able to run this again because I haven't ran it for a while. So then at least I can play the two off each other. See what I think's best. Because I don't know. I might try and make one out of the two, but that's probably daft, really. I would have thought. And you've got two that work. I totally forgot there. I have got some different wheels and tyres coming for this from one of the Chinese sites. They shouldn't be too far away now, I would have thought. And they're off a 1/18 scale crawler. I don't know what they're going to be like, how they fit. If they do fit, they're the same hex, but if they fit on and don't hit too much, if I need to trim the top, then that's fair enough. But I think the bigger wheels might give it, I don't know, give it what it's missing, I think. But the suspension, everything, the layouts of the electric, I think in this are better than that. Even the standard shocks, that's what I'm talking about. You see, that is just, it's a big letdown. You see, you can buy different shocks, they're 25 quid. All the brass, which I think it needs to weigh it down, it just gets silly, really. You can get too carried away. But I think if you bought either, you wouldn't be disappointed with either, because they are a great bit of fun. They can kill plenty of time, especially when you've got plenty of time on your hands. You can use them anywhere, indoor, outdoor, you know, and there are parts available to make them better. You can go as far as you want with them, really, but that looks better, that performs slightly better. That's what I'm saying. And like you say, with a few bits and pieces, this can be made to go a lot further. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Just thought I'd put this together. I wanted to do it really just after running that for so long, getting that, and I just wanted to put my thoughts together and just share them, really. Might be of some use to somebody. But again, just like to say, thanks for watching.